It's best ball season, and we're diving into ADPs because one man's reach is another man's. It's probably a reach. Yo, what's happening, everybody? It's the Too Much Crew coming at you with, yes, it's fantasy football. It's too much, but it's too much best ball version. We're coming in here right before the NFL draft, and of course, there's big boards up there to be had. Brendan, how are we doing today?
Just feeling like a degenerate right now going to best ball when some of the rookies haven't been drafted. I did this last year and it's a ton of fun. You just like really hope to gamble on somebody that'll hopefully win you the league. Like I took a ton of rookie Pearsall and that didn't really flourish till the end of the year and I was already kind of out. So
It's wild how many like, oh my god, I killed it on some of these picks in these NFL draft best ball matches, and then others I'm like, oh wait, but I've got four dead picks right there because didn't realize he was going to get covered. So we're going to dive through here. We're going to go through the first few rounds, talk about some of the players that we think are our favorites per round, some of the ones that scare us the most, and then of course those upside gambles, the ones you have to take because it's best ball. You don't want to be just top 10, top 20. You want to be number one overall to win that big tournament if you're taking down the big one. So, I mean, without further ado, let's get it going. Wait, we got a bit of news here? Yeah, we got
a
a bit
little
of
bit.
news. A little bit.
Yeah.
Geno scored a 2-year deal. Looks like he will be extended there in Las Vegas. I kind of thought they were going to be holding out just to see what quarterbacks maybe were on the board when they pick at 6. And maybe that might have been why they hadn't extended him at this point. But it looks like they're wrapping him up 2 years. He'll be there bridging the quarterback, whether they take one or not.
Yeah, I mean they still I think Geno's fine with Pete Carroll. I think you and I are under the assumption they're gonna I think Ashton Genty's a real landing spot, so they can take the pressure off of Geno. Whether they want to take a quarterback later and develop him, it's still a fine signing because it just works wonders for Jacoby Myers, Brock Bowers. So we all love it here.
Absolutely. I'm happy for the guy, too. One of the older quarterbacks in the league at this point starting. What else do we have on the dock? Any other big splash news? It's getting dry, folks. It's going to be dry for another couple weeks.
Yeah, the only other news that I saw was Brees Hall's going to be in a committee supposedly, so that's a fun one.
Yeah, we do have Braylon Allen, which they took last year in the draft, and then Isaiah Davis, who they also took a couple rounds. I believe he was a sixth rounder, and Braylon Allen was a fourth rounder. So it's muddying the water. This is Brees' contract year too, so I really hope if they don't re-sign him, they're just gonna put him to the wolves, run him, push him all the way to the end. But otherwise, this is gonna get murky, and he might be featured on the today's episode possibly.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't really think there's a whole lot more. Tyreek Hill, there's buzz that there could possibly be trades looking there. I hope he gets traded. We were talking just recently. Let's send him to the Packers. How fun would that be?
Yeah, I mean, I think they said there could be a couple draft night trades, and I think Tyreek Hill is definitely mentioned. Chris Olave was mentioned as a potential one too. So like, we really obviously we didn't think AJ Brown was gonna get traded on draft night when that happened. That was kind of out of the blue. Same with the Hollywood Brown when that happened. I don't remember his buzz being around like, oh, he might be traded. So like, we could see somebody unexpectedly being traded on draft night too.
Yeah, handful of guys coming into contract years. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I love this new generation of the NFL. I feel like the last 4 to 6 years, just the trades have been just amplified so much more as far as like real worthy players.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so round one, folks. If you haven't drafted your first best ball draft, go ahead and hop in over there. I'm going to be using Underdog's ADP. I'm actually drafting a little bit more on DraftKings this year. I kind of like the ADP. It's a little bit more favorable to me, but let's ride with the Underdog. It is the favorable platform if
It's
you
a
do
king
ask
of the
me.
crop for best ball.
Absolutely. So right now we're looking at Jamar Chase at 1, Barkley 2, Bijan, Justin Jefferson, Gibbs, Lamb, Puka, Nico, Neighbors, Amon-Ra, BTJ, and Genty as your first 12 picks. So let's go ahead and break it down here. Let's start, we're going to go positive here, folks. What is this one just feels like a lock in the first round. Who's that for you?
I mean, it's like in the first round, it's so difficult because like you can just sit there and say like the first five names and just be like, yeah, they're a lock. So like I think it's kind of like on the cheating side, but for me, it's Brian Thomas Jr. You can get him in the back end and what he did his rookie year. I mean, some people had him better than Malik Neighbors. So like for me, I'm a Brian Thomas Jr. believer. It's really unfortunate being a Colts fan, but the dude just put up unreal numbers, and I think with Trevor Lawrence coming back, I think they're just going to continue the same. And there's no one really next to him right now. So
Yeah, 87 receptions, 1282 in yards, and then 10 touchdowns. Can he replicate it again? That's going to be the big question. He did have a little bit of Mac Jones out there, so Trevor Lawrence, can you stay healthy the whole time? New offensive line coming in. Very hopeful, very hopeful. But I guess let me just segue. This is my lottery ticket, my gamble at least. I do think there is room for a little regression. You're taking him. He's going at wide receiver 8 right now, so I think that's a really realistic landing spot for him. I think he has a higher ceiling, definitely. But as far as like median outcome, I feel like that's kind of right where you're going to be drafting him. So there is going to be just that, maybe a slight risk, but out of any of these guys that aren't being drafted top 4, I think he has the best chance of being 1. Like, just
Yeah.
he is the real deal as far as catches, yards, and touchdowns. Amon-Ra's he gets it on the back of a lot of catches. You're going to see a lot of these guys that are maybe faceted in just 2, maybe just one of those, but this guy, he can do all 3. Who's going to be your gamble then?
My gamble that sits right now, unfortunately, it's Ashton Genty, just because we don't know where he's going to go. Now, do I expect a team to take him to fully have him be the lead back? Yes, absolutely. But let's just say he falls to the Saints. Like, that muddies the water a little bit. That's where I'm saying it's just like, I don't know. Like, I have taken plenty of Ashton Genty because I truly believe the Raiders, Cowboys, somebody's going to take him. But there is a real chance the Saints can take him and just view him as like, okay, he's our next media lead back for the next couple of years. I know they signed Alvin Kamara. That doesn't mean they won't be able to use both. But I think if they do use both, it takes away some of the opportunity. That's why I'm just saying it's a gamble as it sits right now because we just don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely screwy. Things could happen. It's the NFL draft. You expect just madness. That's for sure. So my lock-in player for round 1, the player that I am really happy about, and funny enough, I couldn't take. So wide receiver 1 is Jamar Chase. Running back 1 is Saquon Barkley. I feel like those are the hardest players to say. Like, it's round 1. Like, they're going first overall for a reason. But, like,
Yeah.
CMC was not my most popular take at pick 101 last year because it just felt so scary to be taking the consensus 101. I always like mixing that up a little bit, dabbling
I took
down.
Justin Jefferson a lot at 101.
And it paid out for you. I didn't take him quite that early, but I did more Tyreek Hill, but I did dabble into him and Jamar Chase as like my 101 quite a bit. I was going heavy wide receiver, which bit me in round 1. But my lock is going to be Jahmyr Gibbs. You're getting him at running back 3 about midway of the first round. Dude's going to tear it up. Absolutely going to. Year 3 for the guy. Ben Johnson's gone, so I don't know how creative this new OC is going to be. So they might just rely on the run, which is going to be him. Montgomery's missed time the last couple of years. He's getting older. Just give me Gibbs all day long.
How much do you think Montgomery's still going to eat into his touches, though? Because I still think it's going to be a little bit. I think they'll start to slowly make it like...
They didn't extend him, did they?
They did. They gave him a 2-year extension.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So I do still think he's going to be involved. I still think you're going to get that touchdown in 12 to 13 at least games from him. So there is going to be that little bit, but like when he's down, it's going to be all Jahmyr Gibbs. So I think it's going to be consistent RB1 numbers and the RB1 number potential if, injuries and such.
No, I agree.
Your player that scares you the most in round 1, who is it?
It's Puka. I mean, this dude can, I think you and I both could agree that like with Stafford being his favorite target, he could easily be the wide receiver 1 in fantasy, and we wouldn't be shocked at the end of the year. But with Devontae Adams coming in, I think that takes away the red zone targets. And like, I don't want to say I believe in injury prone, but Puka has missed time. He hasn't been the most healthiest player. So like for me, like I look at that, I'm just like, man, like if I really take him in my first round, I really needed to bank on him to be this 8 receptions, 80 yards, maybe a touchdown here and there kind of a guy. But I need him to be a receptions king the entire way through the season.
I think what I feel good about leaning on with Puka is, there is that concern that you may not have him the whole year, but his concentrated value that he does give you when he's out there, I think that's what kind of almost justifies, because he's an injured guy. He fell in the draft, and that was one of the big knocks was, he was constantly injured in college as well. So I completely understand that as well. Bijan's going to be mine. When it's all said and done, I think Bijan's still going to be a top 2, top 3 running back for me when it comes to, all the situation. Of course, we're waiting for a few rookies here, but I think it just scares me because you're taking him at RB2, and that's what you're projected him for. That's what you're hoping to get. But that's just how these top three picks are usually going to be. There's just so much weighted into it. You have to get it right. So it's just the fear there. We saw Michael Penix for two-ish games. We hope he can replicate it and still produce well for us. But I guess that's my only fear. What if not? Things could go
What
wrong in
was his
Atlanta.
numbers with Michael Penix in those last two games? Do you have them on you by any chance? Like, 'cause I'm
Uh,
very curious to see. I know it's a very small sample size, but like it's still something to kind of replicate and go off of.
Finished RB4 and RB2 in those last two games.
Pretty good.
It's
Pretty
pretty
good.
good. Pretty good. One of which was playing Carolina, though, which was one of the worst run defenses in the league. Washington went
Which
as
they play
well.
twice again.
Yeah, they do. He does. I think schedule's not out yet, but I do believe that's correct.
Yes.
So yeah, it's not a full fear here. Look, it's the first round. It's hard to really put
Yeah.
down something here, but it's just the cautious optimism. I dove hard into the Falcons' offense last year, so I think it's just me making sure I do my due diligence before I fully plant my flag in the confidence.
I agree.
Let's head to round two. Give me your lock. Let's start positive again with round two.
Out of like these guys, like I mean, I didn't even realize it, but like I need to change mine. I can't believe he's going ahead of him, but it's AJ Brown. I think he's being truly disrespected at the rankings as wide receiver 10 when all he's ever done has just been consistently one of the best wide receivers in the game. And I think I might be buying into the Eagles more this season just because of they wanted to ban the tush push. So I think, and this team has egos on it. They are very egotistical, and it starts from the head top from Nick Sirianni. That dude doesn't
100%.
care, and he's gonna shove it back in everybody's face for trying to ban this. So like, I think they're gonna run up the scores on a lot of people, and I think you're getting a top five wide receiver 10. That's kind of criminal in my mind.
I agree with you. It's hard because I am just a little apprehensive because of the defense. If this defense continues to evolve, then they may not need to score as much. But I think that's where you're relying on, as you said, the ego of the head coach, and they're still going to try and run it up when they can. AJ Brown came away with only 7 touchdowns. There's gonna be some regression back to the passing game.
Yeah.
Hurts and Barkley had so many rushing touchdowns. Barkley made a statement. They just extended the guy. So maybe they're not going to be leaning on him quite as much if they pull him back 10-15%, just a little bit to keep him going. These two wide receivers, they're paying him quite a bit. Let's get him rocking and rolling. Love the choice. Mine's going to be Derrick Henry though. We've got whisperings in the bushes of an extension coming his way as well. I mean, hell, I thought he could have been in talks for an MVP halfway through the season last year. It was
Oh
him and
yeah. It
Barkley
was
for a
him and
long.
Saquon all the way through. They were neck and neck in the rushing title.
So as far as depending on what your strategy is with best ball, if you're looking for, hey, I want something that's going to be consistent. He may not have the exact ceiling of all of these other guys, missing the pass catching, but a guy who's going to get me a touchdown just about every week and 100 yards in many of his games. I think Derrick Henry's a great hero RB approach and a lock in round two.
Yeah, it's interesting looking at these rankings because like my next guy's a gamble and like he's going ahead of Derrick Henry, which like I think it's a bunch of us degenerates that know like the outcomes of like where it could be versus what it is. Like
Hmm.
my gamble's Christian McCaffrey. At the end of the day, like this is the lowest you'll ever see him again, potentially. I mean, obviously the fall off could be surreal, but like again, like he's still under contract with CMC. Shanahan uses the running back and uses a one running back system. It's Christian McCaffrey. Like I think I will be walking away with Christian McCaffrey in a lot of drafts just because it's just like I get it. He's injured and I know the Achilles tendonitis is a thing, but like I'm about to get the guy who's been the RB1 not once but a few times this late. Like the gamble's worth it for me.
And he's also one of those players that I trust his process. He's going to be doing every possible thing he can to get himself out there. They extended him last summer as well, so it's not like they're going to completely replace him here in the draft. So Christian
Yeah.
McCaffrey, I think he's a great sprinkle to get him at RB5, a guy who can give you the workload of RB1 easily.
Yeah.
My gamble, it hurts me. There's a couple guys in contention for this one. I've got Bucky Irving here. It's just
I understand it.
it's the mountain of things. We're taking him at RB9. We still have Rashad White back there who will be continue to be involved at least to a degree. You have three good wide receivers, two great wide receivers on this team. You have Baker Mayfield who is, can be mobile as well. It's just there's so many realms. I feel like regression has to be coming for the Bucks. They have been just on a hot streak since Tommy retired. This team has just continued to move through offensive coordinators, and it works. So I'm not doubting it. I'm sure I'm going to have plenty of Bucks across all of my leagues, all of my formats. But it's just here before the draft, just a little.
Yeah, like when I look at the rankings, like there's some guys where I understand like he's like Bucky or Josh Jacobs, and it's like I don't know, man. Like I really like Josh Jacobs, and they still like I know like they have Marshall and Lloyd, like Kyron Williams, another one. Like I'll take Bucky before Brees Hall for sure, but like Chase Brown and Bucky, I feel like are the kind of the same. If the Bengals don't touch anything of the running back system, I feel like there might be a little more upside with Chase Brown just because we saw what he did, and there's no one really behind him besides Zach Moss. So
Chase Brown, he probably should have. He would have hit this perfectly just because the ceiling is so volatile depending on where they
yeah,
draft. And then your fear here in round two, we both have the same one. It's Brock Bowers.
yeah,
Not that we don't think that he can finish as the tight end one, but it's where you're drafting him. You're taking him right here on the 15th pick, going around guys like Devon Achane, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, new quarterback. They're upgrading weapons. Geno Smith's a better quarterback than what they have, so his ability to spread the ball around is going to be there versus just them hammering Brock Bowers all night long. So just, again, apprehension. That's
yeah.
kind of where we're drafting now.
I just have a hard like I do a ton of best ball drafts, so I will draft Brock Bowers for sure. It's just he won't like tight ends are just I still treat it as a redraft, which you're not supposed to. It's just hard to have him being so early. Like realistically, like where do you feel comfortable taking Brock Bowers? Like where
I think I'd prefer him around that 2-3 turn.
yeah.
If we get after this year, if he does it again, then I'm sure he's going to turn into Kelsey as Kelsey was 4-ish years ago when, you're okay taking him at the 1-2 turn. But yeah, give me another season. Give me another season. We definitely had some regression from Sam Laporta. Different situation, pedigree, all that kind of stuff. But just
I want to see where your line is. I think you and I are both on the same page. Like you take Drake London before Bowers, right?
yes. Yeah.
AJ Brown before Bowers, right?
Yes.
Jonathan Taylor before Bowers, right?
Probably,
Okay.
depending on
I
the
think it's
build.
probably that Lad, Tyreek Hill, Bucky areas where you're like, all right, I'll probably this
I'd take
is
him over Lad.
yes. I take him over Bucky and I take him over JSN.
Correct. Yeah. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up here with the third round here. I guess not completely wrap this up. My pick that I think is a lock. I think Kyron Williams. He looks pretty good. We've had whispers of an extension coming his way. I don't think they're going to do a whole lot of damage as far as a running back. I'm sure they grab one. Just it's a deep class, but I'm confident Kyron's going to kick some booty this season. At RB12, the guy gets too much. He gets more work than the RB12 does.
It's kind of crazy. I mean, I want to say like my winner for this is Chase Brown. I mean, you can't talk about him enough. When he finally took over the backfield when Zach Moss went down, how many RB1 finishes did he have? I want to say it was absurd. I want to say 3 or 4.
Like RB1 overall, you're just talking about like RB1
RB1
finish.
finishes. Yeah, and he's going as an RB2 area, which is kind of
Yeah,
absurd to me.
we got RB5, 12, 5, 4, 10, 10, 6, 4, 14. Especially in
Yeah,
the playoffs for you. That 10, 6, 4, 20, 14 to finish the season. Oh!
yeah, I think I don't know. I think Chase Brown's stock will rise continuously after the draft 'cause I don't see the Bengals investing a ton
How old do
in
you
this
think he
offense.
is?
23.
25.
Okay.
He's going into year 3 at 25. Poor guy. He's not getting an extension.
Yeah, that'll be tough for him, but I don't, I only need him for 1 year, so I just need him
Oh,
to go off this year.
yeah, it's rough for him, not for us. Your lock is Chase Brown. Let's go with the I'm gonna go with my gamble. It's Marvin Harrison. This one it's a little bit more of a challenge for me because I feel like it's great value at wide receiver 18. I do think
Yeah.
there's a better than not chance that he returns that for you, but at the same time, it's Kyler. It's the show out there in Arizona. Do they get the offense fixed? This is a defensive minded head coach that they have out there, so his priority is that side of the ball. I hope that they really work on this offense a bit. I mean, Michael Wilson's their wide receiver too. I'd love to see them grab another talented wide receiver to add to this offense. But Marvin Harrison, he can definitely give you a top 12 finish, but it's sketchy.
It's sketchy. I understand it. He had like 800 yards, I think like a little under eight touchdowns. So like good numbers. I mean, obviously he was in the fourth overall pick, so you expected, the moon and the stars, which I think you and I both said before the season started, like probably not going to draft him a ton. I think he's going way too high for a rookie. I think this is actually a good spot for him. I think this is probably, appropriately rated for him. I think I'll have a good healthy amount of him. I can see why there's a gamble though, just because you just don't. This offense is kind of like an anomaly. You just don't really know. Like James Conner's a featured back. They drafted Trey Benson. They gave James Conner an extension. Trey McBride is actually the leading receiver for this team. Like it's supposed to be Marvin. So yeah, it's all over the place.
Which might lead that this might be his best platform to get him on because
Yes.
he may finish right around wide receiver 18, but it's on the back of 4 to 6 really good games, and then he gave you, 5 points or less in the other
Some
five,
duds.
So this might be the platform that I prefer him in this year.
Yeah,
Let's talk about
absolutely.
some New York players because I've got my fear and you've got your gamble and your fear. So, Brees Hall, tell me about him. What's your thoughts on him?
Dude, after the coach talk, I mean, it's coach talk. Brees Hall is talented. We can both acknowledge that. Like when we
Yes.
seen it, he's great. The problem is that last year, like I even said it with some friends, like he didn't look like Brees Hall. Like there's some runs where he was like he took off, but he got tackled from behind. I'm like, that's not really Brees Hall. Brees Hall usually is faster than that. So like I'm just kind of like I'm very leery with him, especially with Justin Fields, because I think Justin Fields was going to poach some touchdowns. Like he's going to RB11. I'd much rather have Kyron, Chase Brown. Like he's starting to fall in my rankings just a little bit. So like where he's going is a little too rich for me. But like man, like he could be back to what was it like 2 years ago when he was like the RB2 or RB4. Like that's not out of the possibility. It's just I just don't see it happening with this offense the way it's happened.
Yeah, he didn't do bad this past year. Finished his
Did
RB
it?
16, 17 and a half in full PPR. For, RB2 is what he finished in full PPR 2 years ago. I still think it's within the realm of possibility this season, but there's just so many caveats, so many different flags. They may not all be red, but there's flags back there between that 300 monster and then of course the quarterback. So let's talk about some Garrett Wilson here. This is my fear player as well. I'm afraid to draft him at wide receiver 15. I think he clearly beat the ADP last year. I don't know how. I still don't believe that he did, but he finished as what was it? Was 12
Our wide
exactly.
receiver 12, yeah.
1,100 yards, 101 catches, 7 touchdowns. But can he do that with his old college quarterback, the guy who can't throw worth a damn?
Okay, so for me, he's my gamble. I think I'm a Garrett Wilson stan though. I mean, look, so his rookie year, 83 receptions, 1,100 yards. Second year, 95 receptions over 1,000 yards. And this past year, 100 receptions and 1,100 yards. Like, he has done this with bad quarterbacks. I will continuously draft Garrett Wilson no matter what because he gets it done with bad quarterbacks. Like, I just want him to get a good quarterback. He is the new Terry McLaurin.
I mean, PPR, he's finished 21, 26, and 10.
Yep.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not too shabby. So
And you're
I'm
getting him
not
as wide receiver
against
15.
and I'm not against it. I guess would it within best ball, are you stacking him with Justin Fields? Or are you
Yeah,
more likely to
well,
take him naked?
I do a ton of drafts, so yes, there will be times where I'll stack him. And Justin Fields is, I don't know where he's going now. I'm assuming he's moved up quite a bit, but before that, it was, I mean, what is he, QB what? He's got to be pretty high.
QB 15. Yeah, he was like 27, I think, like a week or two ago.
Yeah, QB 15. Yeah, I'd probably stack him. That's around that area. It's a bunch of like maybes, whatever. But if I have Garrett Wilson, yeah, of course I want to stack him because he's going to get a touchdown thrown to him, and it's going to be by Justin Fields more than likely. So
Justin Fields ADP should only go like 15. It's not going to stay there much longer.
no, it's gonna creep up when we get around draft, like when the NFL draft happens. All this is gonna just creep up tremendously.
Yeah, I get that. Well, folks, thanks for listening. We appreciate you jumping on with us, talking some best ball. Check out more of us on the channel here on Fantasy Football Advice Network. All the best ball knowledge for you. Looking for more just exclusive football stuff? Check out the other YouTube channel. We've got Too Much Fantasy Football. And then, of course, like, subscribe, hit us up in the comments. Make sure that you're helping us out there. Until next time, we'll see you.